and welcome everyone to The Perspectives. Myself, Alishba Nadeem, and I'm working as Assistant Manager Learning and Development at Invozone. So I'm going to be your host for today's session, and today the topic of our discussion will be managing effective teams. And for that, we have got Hamza Ibad with us, and he's the head of HR at Fitzy Health. So let's ask Hamza about himself and about his company. So please, Hamza, tell us about yourself, please.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure. And I am Hamza Ibad. I have 14 years of experience in HR industry. I've worked with software houses, I've worked with gaming industry, I've worked with real estate companies, and then now I'm actually working with mental health care industry as a head of people and culture. So this is my experience so far, managing different teams and different sizes of the companies.
Right. Thank you very much. So tell me more about your current company.
So Fitzy Health is an online mental health care platform. It's a product-based company. It provides their services across, you can say, the world, because it's all remote company, and then the business model is again a remote. So we are a mediator between customers and the therapist. So we have this product, customer comes on our platform, they choose a therapist that they want to have a therapy with, and then we schedule their appointment, and they have this online session through which they move forward with multiple sessions in the process.
That's great. So let's start with our topic, that is managing teams. So my first question will be, what are some useful strategies to build an effective team?
Right. So again, there's no secret recipe to this, and this is not something that is very easy. Although nowadays we can actually extract details what to do to develop teams through even Chat GPT, but it's more about implementing them in the real life, because it could be like cohesive environment that you can develop by having more honest and open feedback. You should be having, it depends on the companies as well. If it's a small company, it's a startup, a flat hierarchy generally does the job. But if there are large organizations, so there would be processes involved in them. And apart from that, you should be setting clear goals and responsibilities for everyone, because if everybody knows what they have to do in their regular job, that makes it more easier for people to you can say connect to their jobs. And there are a lot of things, team engagement, you have to like keep motivated them. Communication is very important, because especially in the remote companies, so sometimes you have to over communicate, because like it's a requirement of the time that everybody gets lost in the translation of having different things happening at a distance. So having an open communication and honest, you can say, environment, that helps a lot in developing this culture of an effective team.
Right. So give me more examples from your common life. What are you
So
here for?
honestly, for my experience, I've worked with large teams and small teams. So what happens is that you have multiple personalities, you have different skill sets that you have on board. Everybody comes with their own personality, and then you have to align them all together, because there would be a clash of personalities. There might be a great skill set with everyone, but then you have to create a cohesive environment to work together. So for that reason, you have to closely work with the teams so that they can be efficient. Uh, I have experienced people who are go-getters, and then who are top-notch talent, and they want to achieve something big, but then they have team members who are just doing their functional job. So they feel sort of pissed off that why they are not coping up with the space.
Right.
And that's natural, that nobody can be at a same pace because of their own skill set and personalities and the whereabouts, because in Pakistan we have like a lot of domestic things attached to our performance and our, you can say, daily work routine. So for that reason, having a more closer interaction with the teams actually helps them. You have to involve them in the decision making, in the company's larger vision, because generally a major chunk of employees or team members actually don't know what is the vision of the company and what we are achieving for. They are just doing what is asked for them to do. So involving them in that is actually very beneficial, because then they understand the larger perspective, and they then move forward to achieve that goal. in a better way. So it also involves, because this is not something that in HR has to do. It is a collective effort from HR, from the senior management, from the managers that are like heading the departments, because everybody has a different approach. A CEO might be having a different approach for the company and for the visions, but they all have to like work together and be on a consensus of what to be done. A large chunk of people know what's going wrong and what could go wrong, but they don't proactively fix that. So sometimes people drag things that, okay, we'll see that later, but we have to like ship this thing first. And that actually agitates people, because they consider that they're not being heard. So that's why I'm referring to communication is something that is very important, because everybody wants to be heard, and you have to listen as well, and then you have to explain the things. It's not just giving negative feedback or not giving feedback. People desire recognition.
Definitely.
People expect appreciation, and there should be, you can say, an appreciation as little as doing a task before time, up to the level of like achieving the milestone or project. So it majorly depends on how you are implementing things that are required.
But what if a person is a procrastinator? How will you manage that person?
So again, there are always things. I have like managed many people, even to a level of a person who used to procrastinate on task, and also wasn't habitual on adherence of the company policies in terms of coming to office. So person used to like sleep late and like come to office probably half day after half day. So then we set their targets, because it's not just one way communication, it has to be two-way communication, and then you have to like get assurance from the other person that we are doing this together. So by doing that, I guess it gets pretty easy. But generally for procrastinators, it is something that you have to lock them on certain objectives. By objectives, I mean that you can actually define smart objectives with them. By smart objectives, I mean like they're smart or like specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're time bound, and then they're relevant as well. So with any case, let it be attendance, let it be their job descriptions, and then projects that they have to deliver, you have to have a strong follow-up, and then have constructive feedback, because having a constructive and honest feedback, for many people in such society that we have, people actually avoid, and they are like a bit biased and evasive of conflicts, because they want to like get the work done from them as well, and then want to create a noise or probably a negative interaction. So that actually piles up to a larger you can say issue. So it's better to have an honest and open communication, that dude, we need to fix this thing and you're not coping up with that, so let's work on this, let's think and let's work on the options that we have to improve this. And जिस तरह attendance की बात की, as little as getting someone up early in the morning, I literally had like interactions with people to call them up in the morning, to wake them up, so that at least I have done my job to support that person to get up.
That's an amazing thing to
उसका
do.
अलार्म बजा नहीं बजा, उसने बंद किया. तो we do had a couple in our company, and the female was in HR, and the male was, you can say, senior resource in a division, and he used to like come late, but his wife was actually on time every single day. So we actually tied up objectives to her to wake him up early,
okay.
because of the HR as well. It's not just that like assigning a person or a duty of something else, but then it also improved, because then she also had this understanding that she is also an HR in that company.
That was
So
a clever move.
Yeah. So you can go to any extent that is, you can say, legit, and that is not violating anyone's personal interactions or life.
Right. So how did you manage people who don't like to work from home, or I mean, if they're working from home, they're not that productive when they're working from home. So how do you manage those people?
So again, people say that they can like work from home 100%, but that is not 100% true for everyone. They face difficulties. I can say I can work from home, but then I would be probably working from my bed, and then I am not having a good posture of taking up meetings. So you observe them, their productivity. If they're working from home and if they're productive, you should be having no issues apart from their mental health and wellness, because that is still something that gets hurt while you are working from home. Until and unless you are not fixing your physical activities, you are probably jogging or walking or doing external things. So the best probably format is of hybrid, that you go to office as well, and then you have off time that you can work from home as well, because then most of us have many responsibilities apart from doing job, and then that gets tricky, especially in this traffic, to manage things. So saving on time actually helps people deliver more.
All right, so Hamza, since we all know that great teams are not just about team management and everything, it's about the personalities that we have in the team. So, to how much extent do you agree to this statement?
Well, I strongly agree with this, because eventually we are all humans, and there are different personalities, like I said earlier. So a good line manager, a good leader, having a good personality that is like promoting the team culture and not just being, you can say, a solo performer, is something that helps a lot. So there are two elements from that. One is personality, and the other one is skill set. When you hire top talent, they generally have a great skill set, but they somehow lacks in the personality, and that's natural, because it's not a majority, but I've observed this, because then they are like very very strong in their objectives and to achieve something. So they have some sort of like lower side on the emotional quotient, because they're very rigorous on things to achieve. And to cope up with such personalities with a team who are like good in personality capabilities and complementary or probably marginal in skill set, so this equation and this wavelength actually differs in many cases. I've seen leaders who were very strong, but their team wasn't, you can say, compensating or probably matching their expectations, and we had a rift over there. And then there were very supportive leaders who were not, you can say, a top rock star, but they used to manage a team of rock stars, and eventually it was having good results. So a good leader has to be flexible, has should have a good personality, because otherwise the team suffers in other cases, not in terms of objectives achievement or probably skill set enhancement, that they rigorously work on that, so they improve that. So if I have to choose between two, if there's a personality and capability matrix, and if somebody is having a great capability, technical skills key, and then a weak personality in terms of being a good leader, I would choose the other person that has a weaker skill set but a great personality to lead, because eventually that will flourish. Because काफ़ी जगह इस तरह डिस्कशन होती है कि the CEO has to take all the calls and then she has the larger vision. I prefer, and I've read that as well, that a CEO's job is to actually put together great minds and then work for them. The person does not have to like report up to you, because you have hired for that role, and then you should be giving him empowerment to decide and to suggest, and then you have to like acknowledge that. So a CEO's job is just to actually gather good people, good talent, good minds, and then put them to work, rather than managing. You have to like go around like this or that. So I believe a good leader should have a flexible personality, should have a very great emotional quotient apart from IQ.
Right, but sometimes it happens कि एक जो लीडर है उसका इन्फ्लुएंस बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, somehow that team is affected. So आपने कभी एक्सपीरियंस किया है सर?
बहुत दफ़ा एक्सपीरियंस किया, बिकॉज जनरली अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये होता है कि ग्रेट पर्सन जो लीड कर रहा है उसकी अपनी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत स्ट्रांग है, उसकी टीम की परफॉर्मेंस बेसिकली थोड़ी सी मार्जिनल है, या टीम इज़ नॉट कोपिंग अप विद दैट, उसका इन्फ्लुएंस आ जाता है, बिकॉज ही इज़ डिलीवरिंग ऑन सोलो बेसिस. तो वो उसका इम्पैक्ट आ जाता है कि यार ये तो काम कर रहा है ना, तो इसको कुछ नहीं कहना, ये काम कर रहा है, अदरवाइज ये पुट ऑफ हो जाएगा और फिर मसला हो जाएगा, विच इज़ अ रॉन्ग अप्रोच. बिकॉज अगर वो काम कर रहा है तो आपके 5 लोग उससे डिस्टर्ब होके नहीं भी मतलब वो काम नहीं कर पा रहे. So it's better to sit down and fix the wavelengths, because you cannot change your personalities, and it's not an overnight basically process. Change management में काफ़ी time लगता है. You have to improve their personality, put them on different trainings, put them on leadership certifications so that they can improve. और अगर वो लीडर नहीं भी है, वो कोई टीम रिसोर्स है, उसमें भी होता है कि काफ़ी लोग ऐसे होते हैं कि टीम के अंदर भी वो काम नहीं करते और वो स्लैक अराउंड करते हैं, वो स्लगिश होते हैं काम में, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन में. तो वो परफॉर्मेंस इंप्रूवमेंट प्लान जो होता है वो बेसिकली सिर्फ रिसोर्स पे नहीं होता, वो लीडर पे भी होना चाहिए, जो कि आमतौर पे हम जो लीड कर रहा होता है उसको छेड़ते नहीं है, यार इसको नाराज़ नहीं करना. दैट इज़ अ रॉन्ग अप्रोच, बिकॉज देन यू आर गिविंग a margin of error, and then you are actually demotivating, indirectly you are demotivating the whole team, that you're not taking any action against the sort of brutality or maybe harsh or aggressive behavior the person is having with the rest of the team. So we should speak openly, and there is no harm in like giving constructive feedback that everybody has faults, we are humans, but there should be an improvement plan for everyone, rather than कि बस कि जिस तरह का है इसके साथ इस तरह ही चलना है, इसका हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. There is nothing that you cannot do. It's just that you have to put efforts and communicate, because काफ़ी दफ़ा लोग denial में चले जाते हैं कि नहीं यार मेरे साथ तो कोई मसला नहीं है, but then you have to like make them like agree, and then provide them examples on different cases to let them know, because एक self evaluation and self realization is very important. There's this process of Dunning-Kruger effect. That is something that I know everything and my decisions are the best, because I have experience and all that. So that effect, people with having that mindset actually does not relate much, और उनके साथ conflicts आते हैं, because they live their own minds, they live in their own world, and they think that they are, you can say, always right.
But if you even train them and if still there is conflict, so how do you manage that?
So then you have to like put like-minded people in their team. So we have like different people. There are like other rock stars, suppose, working in another team. They have the different mindset. They are also solo performers, and they want to do something that is like an extra mile. So you gather the team accordingly कि यार अच्छा ये personalities वाला cluster ये है, और ये एक team है जिसमें basically सारे आपस में अच्छे जेलन हो जाते हैं, emotional quotient उनका अच्छा है. And then with that, I've seen, and we have done that putting people, like-minded people together actually creates a cohesiveness in their respective team. वो दिन में काम कर रहे हैं, वो 10-10, 12-12 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं, उनको मसला नहीं है, because they are actually meant to be like this and they are okay with that. Putting a regular person who has a family and who is working 9 hours, maybe 10 hours, and if he would be or she would be put in that team, तो वो सफ़र करेगा. So you have to shuffle resources according to the leadership, in case you are actually unable to do anything about the leadership. So ये एक चीज़ unfortunate है कि जो leadership है उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा कोई strict action नहीं होता. Even evaluations में you are evaluating people, and then they are actually doing their self-evaluation, and then their line manager is doing evaluation. But I haven't unfortunately experienced this as much. We had some experiences, but generally there should be a feedback from employee to the line manager as well, for the management to understand that what do the team think about their leader. That is generally not recorded or taken a consent of. तो ये that is important. उसकी evaluation जो है वो आपका CEO कर रहा है या उससे टॉप वाला कर रहा है, वो तो उसके साथ काम ही नहीं कर रहा, और वो तो शायद उस मुल्क में भी नहीं है. So they only get to know a piece of their performance, and that is all technical. So there should be a 360 review to get feedback and honest feedback. People sort of वो डर भी जाते हैं कि अच्छा यार मैंने उसके बारे में कुछ कह दिया तो इसने मेरी रातें लगवा देनी है या मेरा इंक्रीमेंट ख़राब हो जाएगा. अब भाई खा तो नहीं जाएंगे ना आपको. और दूसरी चीज़ ये कि अगर उन्होंने खा जाना बाद में आपको, तो इट्स बेटर फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट इज़ समथिंग दैट द कंपनी हैज़ फॉर यू, बिकॉज then it's not the right company for you. You should be like moving to some other company which respects. So this fear is also something that piles up thing on the other side. With Gen Z, there are like differences. They are very vocal about things, and which is good, at least for that perspective. We have other issues as well, but generally they are vocal, they are opinionated, and they are open, and that actually helps them. बिकॉज हर बंदा जो है ना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अवेसिव है, वो बेसिकली नहीं डिस्कशन करना चाहता, और वो चाहता बस ठीक है जिस तरह चल रहा है उस तरह चलता रहे, और फिर साथ साथ वो जॉब ढूंढना शुरू होता है, और फिर उसके बाद एकदम से वो बम फेंकते हैं कि जी आई एम लिविंग. तो तब एचआर भी कहता है अच्छा यार आपने कभी पॉइंट आउट नहीं किया व्हाट वाज द प्रॉब्लम. So again, when HR should not wait for, you can say, things to get heated. They should be having a good observation. They should be having a good communication. Regular follow-ups होते हैं. आप अपनी टीम की pulse check करते हैं, health checks करते हैं, different sessions करते हैं. उसमें you get the information because you get to know about people from their behaviors, from their responses, and that is something that is like the psychological effect, and then your observation.
So do you think these things will help to build trust between the teams?
Obviously, trust is something that is also a core element, that if you don't trust people, then you would be having a negative bias that यार ये आज टाइम पे नहीं आया तो क्या वजह हो सकती है. तो आप जब तक वो आके बताता नहीं आपको कि माई कार ब्रोक डाउन, माई मोबाइल गॉट स्नैच, तब तक जो दूसरा बंदा है उसने डेवलप कर लिया होता है कि यार ये कोई और फिल्म है, ये इंटरव्यू देने गया हुआ था कुछ तरह. So yeah, communication and trust is something that should be there. If you trust me, and then you should be then expecting that I would be doing my job. And by trust, you can develop trust, not immediately, but at least you can give it a shot.
Right. So different personalities are there, skill set different होते हैं लोगों के. So there's diversity, right? So what do you think? How can we manage that diversity in the team?
So diversity is something that is still not very popular in Pakistan, because either diversity सिर्फ ये है कि male or female है. That's not like the whole story of diversity. But since I'm working with the current company and that is all remote, so we have actually a very diverse team. I'm from Pakistan. Our product and technical team is majorly from Pakistan. Our customer care team is from India. We have people from Lebanon. We have from Egypt. We have one therapist on our community manager from Argentina. We have people from South Africa and Dubai as well. So again, these all are different nationalities and different cultures. And when you work with them, you develop more understanding of other people. और उसमें फिर वो bias नहीं आता, because then you have break that ceiling that you have in your mind कि भाई अच्छा ये तो लाहौर के लोग ऐसे होते हैं, कराची के लोग ऐसे होते हैं. So it's about going global. And then you understand as well that people have like hard times in communicating in English, probably because of their different accents. So having that diversity gives you a better understanding on working with different cultures, different teams, and then improving yourself on how to work along with them. In Pakistan, it is something that Invozone and DevSync have taken this initiative, and I really appreciate and support that you have dedicated you can say portion or probably percentage for transgenders as well. And this is something that is a drop in the ocean, but generally still it's a huge step. So यहाँ पे एक stigma है that females cannot lead. So basically there's a lot of companies that actually don't believe in promoting or probably bringing on females in the leadership team, apart from HR. HR में generally they are fine with that, because it's like people management.
Women can lead better.
Yeah. So again, this is natural. Women can actually do better multitasking because it's in their genes. So you should have this understanding. If they can do multitasking, then definitely becoming a project manager or probably a product manager, or at least some technical roles, so they can actually do well. I believe that, and I've seen that as well in different companies. Unfortunately, there were not much of senior leadership female community in my experiences, but I've seen that in companies that people are flourishing. It's just about trust. It's just about opportunity that you give them, and then remove that stigma from your mind. So the industry has it, but remove it from your mind, because globally females are the CEOs of the companies. There are like numerous females who are actually leading the teams. So it's just that it's something that we have in our mind, and it's our personal choice as the co-founders or probably leaders or even HRs that अच्छा नहीं यार फीमेल नहीं चाहिए, मेल चाहिए, उसको probably रगड़ा देना है या उसने रात को काम करना है. So it has been a different situation in the past, but now it's all flexible and people are very mature now, very professional. to actually manage things, let it be a female or male or even transgender.
All right, so we have got some rapid fire questions for Hamza. So the first thing is work from home or work from office?
Well, I think it should be a hybrid situation, and there should be a hybrid option as well. So I prefer hybrid, a couple of days in office and a couple of days from home.
All right. So next is what did you want to be when you were a child? A tough
Well,
question.
at that time I wanted to grow up, but now I regret that. But
We all do. We all do.
every child wants to be a sports person, and I used to play cricket a lot.
So who was your ideal?
So that time, Wasim Akram and Rukarius were like very famous. I'm actually talking about, I'm 39 right now, so I'm talking about जब Windows में defragmentation लगा के उसको देख रहे होते थे, अच्छा, it's improving to save space.
Okay, so next, your favorite holiday place?
Well, I've been to like a very few places, and considering that, I'll prefer Bali because of the natural beauty. It's cheap, and then obviously it is something that I've observed. Otherwise, though, people can say Switzerland as well, but
Right.
I'll be honest and whatever I think.
Being realistic. Okay, so you have to name a four-letter word that starts with the letter B.
Bored, maybe bard.
Okay, all right, perfect. And what is your go-to pastime?
Well, I am very fond of. I have this OCD of keeping things in form. So let it be my car, let it be household things, let it be my desktop. My desktop like is very clean every time.
Right.
So it's more about managing things and like sifting them out. या फिर I have a love for cars, so I used to actually just pimp my car, do some projects on that. I've changed a lot of cars, so that is my
So
free time.
which is your favorite car then?
So I used to have like Honda Civic 2000 model that is very famous from Fast and the Furious as well. So I actually pimped that. और वो मेरी favorite space जो थी वो workshop थी, because every weekend या probably every twice or thrice a week I used to actually go there and for a couple of hours to see कि अच्छा यार क्या क्या चीजें कर रहे हैं.
All right. So the last question is one subject you would like to learn more about.
Well, there are a lot, but I think behavioral sciences is something that attracts me, and to know more and to understand more about how and why people react. So
I think that's why you're head of HR and culture.
maybe that's my passion. So obviously, this is something that relates to that. Otherwise, though, we have AI, we have machine learning, but my personal interest is like getting to know people more, because I have a very people-centric approach. So I want to have like better understanding on how to improve people's experience in the companies.
Right. So thank you very much, Hamza, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you everyone for being with us. We will see you next week in the next episode of The Perspective. Stay tuned.